Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everybody. Tough loss on Saturday, and we had a pretty good meeting yesterday with our leadership council, and a couple things. One, how proud we were of the effort and how the guys fought and battled and played. Texas is really good. We all know that, and I don't know if there's a lot of teams that could go in there, be down 17-0, and not do anything right in the whole first half, offense, defense, or on teams, and then flip the game with a punt block to get it at least competitive at halftime. And then we go down 27-7. Things weren't going really great, and all of a sudden we put a great drive together, get it to 27-14, and then we start creating some turnovers, and lo and behold, we're in a game and have a chance to win. And it's a credit to the locker room, it's a credit to the culture. Our guys are hurting. We had a chance, an opportunity to win the game, didn't get it done. Biggest thing for us now is we've got to move forward. We always talk about how you respond. Well, this is a little bit different. We had a top 5 team, in my opinion, on the ropes. They made some plays down the stretch and found a way to win. Hats off to them. Now we've got to be able to move on. We've got so much story to write in this season and so many more things to accomplish and some awesome opportunities. And the first one starts this Saturday with one of our last 2 for these seniors at the Bill. And so we had a really good practice after a meeting yesterday. We had a really good practice, good energy, good focus, and I'm confident the guys are going to come back and respond.
How much could field position have played kind of dictated your early tempo and the early play calls?
In the game, you mean?
Yeah, the field position you guys are earning.
Some of it. They were getting after us. I mean, we were having a hard time moving them. We were trying to establish the run game, and they were doing a great job of saying, "Man, we're going to put enough guys up there. We're not going to allow you to run the football." And we just didn't. We had some long yardage situations that were just putting us behind the 8 ball, and then on the flip side, we were in such poor field position on defense when we were giving up chunks on first down that we never really got our footing until later in that second half.
Maybe a little bit too slow to go to that, a little bit more of the aerial game?
No, I mean, I trust what Colin was doing and trying to establish. We're not a team built to go to the air raid. We were trying to find ways to run the football just so we wouldn't get into 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10. But I thought in the second half we had to press a little bit more, and we were able to do that. Couple things. I thought our pass protection from our offensive line was tremendous, and I thought Will Howard was on point, played with an edge, made some big time throws, especially off platform when he gets flushed and stuff. And we had some receivers, and Ben always comes to play. Ben Sennett's a great football player. We all know that. We had some receivers really step up, and pleased with Keegan making the strides he's made and made some big plays. Phillip always is making big plays, but in that kind of environment was big, and then Jace as well. So we did some good things in the throw game.
With the manner in which you move the football, does that give some confidence to your offense that you can throw it around a little bit?
Absolutely. When you do it in that kind of environment with whatever 90, 100,000 and having to throw it when they know you have to throw it, and we were able to still do it, and we got good protection, like I said, and I sure hope it gives us a lot of confidence.
Just one more. With the way Baylor's kind of struggled, is it indicative of how difficult the Big 12 can be year in, year out?
Yeah, I think we all know how difficult the Big 12 is. At least we do as coaches, and we're going to get Baylor's best. They haven't lost on the road. They haven't played very many on the road, but they haven't lost on the road. Got 2 Big 12 wins. I've got so much respect for Dave Aranda. They're 2 years removed from a Big 12 championship. Quarterback's a really good player. Have liked him since the day he came in here in 2021, I think it was, and had to be a backup, and came in and played really well. And I think he's got that it factor. And so we're going to have to play our best to be able to have an opportunity to be successful.
Jay Clifton got elevated to starting middle linebacker. I know you guys have been super impressed with how he's played, but what kind of led to elevating him?
Well, he deserved the opportunity. Austin missed, I can't remember what game it was now. It's running together. And so we moved him to the Mike backer spot, and he had played that before. And then we were trying to rotate guys in the next week and felt like Jake is playing at a high enough level. We need to get him more snaps, so that's why we ended up moving him in. Romaine still played. Dez and Austin are playing a lot of snaps of football right now, and we're piecing them together each week, Austin and Dez, because I really think those two guys are as good an outside linebacker combo as there is in the Big 12. And Jake deserves that opportunity. Austin's doing a great job, Austin Romaine is, but Jake probably knows our defense maybe a little bit better, but we're going to need all those guys because we still are thin at that spot.
And then Chapin's a guy that you've gotten to see multiple times kind of throughout his career. How have you seen him grow, and kind of what are the biggest threats that
he can run the football, design runs, scrambles. He had a scramble last week against Houston to keep the game alive. It was 4th and 17, and really their last chance. And a lot of times you think, hey, I'll just throw it up and see if somebody can make a play. And instead, he scrambled around, made a few guys miss, cut back, and made a play that I've seen him make before. I think he throws the ball with great authority. I think he's on point throwing the football. They have a really difficult scheme to defend because you better be able to slow down their run game. It's hard to do, but you better be able to because they're so consistent at rushing the football. And then him out of the pocket, him in the pocket, he does some really good things. So we'll have our hands full.
And after the game on Texas, Ben Sinnott had some pretty fiery comments sticking up for Will Howard. What's your reaction to that, and to kind of have that chemistry in that?
Well, I mean, those two are best friends, and he's battling for his buddy, and whether he was frustrated or not, I didn't hear the comments, but he's battling for his buddy. We all have Will Howard's back. I'm telling you, that kid's a winner, and he's a competitor, and he made plays, made big-time plays. Yep, had a couple of things go wrong. Against a defense like Texas, you're going to have that happen. But he kept bouncing back and I just saw an edge every time we came off the field and every time he went on the field. Hey, give me the ball back. And he threw a couple of balls. The one to Jace right after the turnover was a big-time throw, but he threw some balls off scrambling, and he was fighting for his tail off to try to stay up, and I thought Will played exceptional.
Coach, what's made this team good at battling back from adversity? And what I mean by that is not allowing a team to beat it twice.
Well, we'll find out again, D. Scott. But I sure hope and think it's the and believe it's the guys in the locker room. We had a leadership council meeting yesterday. There's probably 21, 22 guys on that, and they were locked in. And we've got a lot of football left, and we have a lot of opportunities in front of us. And the great thing about the game of football is you're always on a 1-week season. You really are. And as bad as you can feel after a loss, you can have that exhilaration after a win, and it gets you pumped up for the next week. And our guys know how great it is and know that exhilaration of a win. They know how awful it is in that locker room for the guys after a loss, and that's the thing that when you see it as a head coach and you see, I don't care if it was Missouri, Oklahoma State, or Texas, 3 pretty good teams we've lost to, and see the hurt on those guys' faces and eyes in the locker room that, man, we had a chance, we had an opportunity, and we didn't get it done. And then see the exhilaration, and I don't care if it's SEMO or I don't care if it's Houston or TCU or whoever else we've beaten. Those guys love competing and winning. And I think they reflect our team as far as those 21 leadership council guys, because they hold each other and everybody on the team to a standard of, hey, when we're on a 1-week season, and you better win every day to have a chance.
What is the sense of pride this team takes in defending home?
Oh, big time. we got the greatest fans in college football, in my opinion, and our players' opinion, that they come out in droves for these guys, and they love their Wildcats, and you can, the hair on the back of your neck just stands up thinking about that tunnel opening up, and seeing the great fans out there as you're running out of the tunnel, let alone when you're coming out for warm-ups in our student section and our band's there and it's cranked up, and the catwalk that we do that we implemented a couple years ago, and seeing all the fans in line when you come off the buses, it's important, and that's something that doesn't happen at a lot of places in college football, and it happens here for sure.
You won the coin flip and actually deferred,
Yeah.
I think, for the first time. Was wondering, is that more consequence of your defense playing better?
No, it's all based on the wind, Ernie. That's the biggest thing for us. It's based on the wind, because if you take the football and it's windy and they pin you down there and you can only punt the ball 25, 30 yards, you don't anticipate them pinning you. But if they did, or you get a holding or something, now you're giving them a 45, 50-yard field. And so that's kind of why we did that. Every week it's a little different. It has nothing to do with, do you feel better about your offense, feel better about your defense? It's, what's the wind doing? Is it a factor in the kicking game? I didn't think it was a factor in the throw game on Saturday. It was definitely a factor in the kicking game. And so we wanted to have that and put them back and pin them. They did a nice job driving it. We ended up getting a stop, but that's more what played into it.
Getting the ball in the second half isn't really a...
It's important, but you're going to have it either the start of the first or start of the second. And, we have our middle eight or 4-over-4 where we're trying to win the end of the first half and start of the second half. We're always focusing on that no matter what. But a lot of it for us depends on the wind.
Linebackers, moving Jake to middle linebacker, do you still anticipate moving him around some?
Yes.
Or
He'll keep playing a handful of spots. We're in a better situation now as far as we've got 3 games left. You guys know we played a ton of guys in the first game against Troy, or against SEMO. We played a ton of guys there. Well, that was one of those guys' games. So with how the rule is now, we have a lot of guys that were liking to redshirt that were able to play these next 3 games and then still keep their red shirt because postseason doesn't count. They put that rule in actually after the Big 12 championship game last year. They put it in for the bowl game, but now any postseason game doesn't count towards their 4. And so I'll take a guy like Rex Van Wy that's played in 1 game. We're trying like heck to hold him off. Now we don't have to. Whether it's on special teams, whether it's giving Austin Moore a break, we can roll the guy with the games we have left.
I think you listed Bo Palmer now at the will.
Yep.
Is that kind of
He's just because he's rotating. I mean, Steve does such a great job of giving all those guys snaps, gives Toby snaps at Sam to help Dez and to help Clifton, gives Bo snaps at Mike and at Will, gives Rex snaps. It's just, I don't know who would go out there first, but we've got some versatility there.
And back-to-back possessions, you got turnovers, and Colin went with the quick strike. Do you like that philosophy of
You
going
bet.
on the attack?
We had them on their heels a little bit, especially after the fumble. The one we had a really short field after Jacob Parrish's pick, and then we had a relatively short field after the fumble, and it was very quick. I think maybe it was 1 or 2 plays on defense, and so I think he saw a look, and Will saw it pre-snap, and I thought he ripped a post to Jace. It was a great throw and a great catch.
How much flexibility does it give you to have the equivalent of 4 cover corners out there at any given time?
It helps us for sure. And I think you're referring to putting Jacob inside and having Siegel as well. But, we did what we thought we were hopeful for and we haven't been able to do for a while, in the fact of Parrish, Garber, and Will Lee all played a significant amount. It wasn't, a couple of them maybe had 10 snaps more, but it wasn't 35, 40 snaps more. And on the field, it was hot on Saturday. It got really warm, especially in that second half. And so we needed to rotate guys. We were still struggling to rotate and get Dez and Austin out of there. That's why they're not on special teams. But hopefully we can have that eliminated this week.
Can you describe your thoughts of Will Lee's game? I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he continues to improve. He continues to challenge himself. I think Texas has two of the best wide receivers, the tandem as there are in the country. I'm sure there's other schools that have really good players, but together those two cause a lot of problems for a defense. Then you throw the tight end in there, and we've really put those guys in a tough spot because we had to try to stop the run, and we gave up some shot plays, and so then we flipped and played a little bit deeper safety, but you still didn't have much help on the outside. And I thought Will and Jacob and Keenan really did a nice job. I thought Will in the run game really was good. Saw some things, put his face in there, made some really good tackles, which we have to do as much unbalanced and what we call nub side or tight inside run game as we've seen. So it's fun to see him play at that high level.
I was going to ask you a little bit, too, about the run defense. It seemed like, I'm sure adjustments were made, but why was it better as the game went on?
Yeah, we made some adjustments. I think Texas is pretty good up front, and their backs are pretty good. And you throw that on top of the scheme's pretty good. And they caught us on some things in the run game and pass game of just doing a phenomenal job of scouting, whatever you want to say, of here's where our weakness is. And we know the same thing. It's a matter of can we cover it up. And it's why they are where they're at right now is they've got really good players, a really good scheme. And our guys probably got settled in a little bit more and kept fighting. And we had some guys make some unbelievable plays up front. Our defensive line played exceptionally well under tough circumstances, being outweighed by 60 pounds a guy at times, especially at our defensive end spots. But those guys battle. It's fun to watch what Khalid, Mott, Stuff, Matlock do. Man, I mean, there's 320, 330-pound O-tackles and guards, and those guys are on that 245, 240, 250 range. And those guys play with heart. They play with tenacity. They play with great technique. Coach White, Coach Tui do a phenomenal job. They just kept battling. And you guys are right. Clifton made some plays. Dez, Austin made some plays. Siegel and Kobe made some plays in the run game. And that was a friggin' battle. And our guys stayed in the fight even when it didn't look good. I mean, that first half, it could have been a lot. And we found ways to hold them out. And make a couple plays.
You also did get the block. That was a big thing in the game. Did you feel like going in you could get one?
We did. We thought we could block a punt. We should have blocked two. We should have blocked the last punt of the game. We had it, and we actually could have had a chance to block three. We blocked one. One we just didn't get there, and the other one we had a fundamental technique error. I think with a minute and a half left, we'd have blocked the last punt. But we had a really good plan for it, and we didn't know what kind of return we could get with the speed they had on there. But with some of the things we saw in their protection, we really thought we had an advantage there, and we needed to do something like that. The kickoff returns are out of the end zone, right? I mean, so you're not getting a chance there. And so, with it being a difficult game to return it, we had to make something happen special on special teams, and we were able to do that. And that really kind of flipped the momentum a little bit to end that first half.
After the game, that fourth down play, you certainly would have gone for it again. Is that the discussion about going forward on fourth down, was that decided between third and fourth down, or was that talked about
previously? It was talked about when we went to overtime, that we were going to have a chance, we were going to win the game. We didn't have a lot left in the tank, honestly, with the amount of guys that we had playing as many snaps. I didn't know if we'd stop them. I thought we had a chance, but if we didn't stop them and they scored and kicked the PAT, we were going to match that, score a touchdown, and go for two and try to win. On the flip side, once we got the stop, they made the field goal. If it were anything, probably 4th and 5 or less, we were going to go for it. If it was 4th and 8, we probably would have kicked the field goal just because that's a little bit harder. But this is 1 yard outside of a 2-point conversion, and we went there to win. We went there to win the game, and I don't know. We also had some struggles. You know, we had a miscommunication on a snap, and we had a missed field goal. And I just didn't want – I'm confident we would have been able to do those things and execute it, but if we didn't, I didn't want to go in that locker room after miss 2 short field goals and say we didn't put it on a bunch of 5th, 6th-year seniors up front and a 5th-year quarterback that was really had a hot hand.
This field goal, I mean, Tennant
Yep.
redeemed himself in such a huge moment. The way you handled that after he missed the kick, was there anything different than how you would have previously handled him missing a kick?
No, and I didn't really say anything to him after it. I mean, he knows he's got to make the kick, but there's I mean, what are you going to do? I've missed a 4-foot putt, and then I got to come back and make a 4-foot putt on the next hole to try to have a chance, right, Wyatt? And the only thing different is he kicks field goals better than I putt. But so you don't really say anything to him. I have a lot of confidence in Randon, Jack, Chris. Those 3 guys have great dialogue and conversation on the sideline, and I'm sure those 2 calmed him down, probably like he calmed Randon and Jack down when we had the miscommunication on the snap on the PAT. Yeah, those things stink. We don't want those things to happen. They did, and that's part of this crazy game of football that happens. I'm sure they didn't want to throw an interception at the 8-yard line like they did to us. You know, we had a couple opportunities to pick the ball, and we dropped a couple. It's just this game is so crazy that you never know. There's probably not anybody in this room, maybe even including myself, that when it's 27-7 with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, we said we're getting this thing to overtime. Been a pretty big task. But you just never know. That's why you just keep plugging away, play after play after play. Our guys didn't panic, none of that stuff. We just kept playing and kept playing. Then we'll look up at zeros and see where we're at.
You, on the missed field goal, on that one, you decided to kick the field goal rather than go on a 4th and short.
Yep.
Was that discussed at all?
Yeah, it was. We were going to go for it had we had a 4th and 1. It was 3rd and 1, and we lost 2 yards. And we got crushed at the line of scrimmage on that play. And I was like, shoot, let's just tie the game. And credit to our players, credit to our guys, because they bailed me out, they bailed Chris out in the fact of we lose a couple yards. Yep, I thought about it. Nope, let's tie the game. We've battled our tail off. Let's tie the game. Probably why I didn't do it the next time. But the fact that we went from 3rd and 1 to 4th and 3, we kicked the field goal and miss it. We got our 3 timeouts left, and our defense goes out there and stuffs them. And they know what our defense is in. They know exactly what we're going to be in, and we know probably what plays they're going to run, and we stop them. Use our timeouts, get the ball kicked. And I would tell you, Colin Klein thought we were going to score a touchdown. And we had a couple really good plays to at least get us a shot. And I was pretty confident. Honestly, Chris wasn't going to miss that kick with whatever seconds left, and it was, what was it, a 45-yarder or something? And he banged that thing. And I was so proud of us getting back to that moment. And that's why once we got to overtime, we were going to find a way to give ourselves a chance to win it. Yep. Yeah, who knows? You know, this game's crazy. And we lost to Texas last year, and we had to have a lot of help and stuff. But the only thing you can do is control what you can control. I'm still excited. I think we have a really good football team still. And we have a lot of great things to play for. And us having an opportunity to play at home again against Baylor is really big. Guys, we're 6-3. We lost on a 60-yard field goal. We lost against Oklahoma State when we all know we played a really poor football game. Oklahoma State's obviously really, really good, and we got the ball at the 30-yard line with a chance to tie that game at the end. Texas is one of the best teams in the country, and we get beat on the last play of the game. Our program's in pretty good shape right now. We're going to be okay, and we're going to keep battling because we have the right guys in the locker room that believe in what we're doing. And it's fun to be around those guys because every day, man, I get to sit here for punt and watch Gilly and Beebs and those guys over there, and we have a blast. And it's fun to be around these guys because they are competitors.
Reestablishing the run this week, obviously Texas
Yep.
kind of really emphasized that. Does anything need to go into that, or is it just do what we need to be doing? We kind of know how to do this. Let's just get back to it.
Yeah, we need to get back to some basics, and I hope what last week showed everybody is that we probably can have even more balance, and that's when I think we're the best offensively. Colin would probably say it. Will would say it. Is when we have really good balance and we're able to run the football to set up the pass, able to pass the football, but able to get a run on 3rd and 6 when nobody expects it, and be able to throw the football on 1st and 10 and whatever it may be. That's what I'm hoping we gained out of this last weekend.
On the snap miscommunication, as you explained it, was there anything more to it? What
No,
was
they
Randon's-
just between Jack and Randon, they had a miscommunication. Yep.
I guess the duality of analytics and feel and the moment, does that all change week to week
Yeah.
in terms of whether you go for it on
Yep.
4th down at the 46 or
Yeah, it's all feel. Everybody's got a book and analytics and stuff. And Sark would tell you the same thing. Because he and I have talked about this. It still goes on to your gut feeling and how that game is going. Are you having success? Is it a 10-9 game against like Iowa State where you're like, man, we better punt the ball and be safe? Is it a 38-37 game or something where you have to keep possessions? It's all a feel. It really is. And not only what the score of the game is, how it's going, how are your players? Is it a home game and you got extra players? Is it an away game and it's 80 degrees and it's early November and you're hanging on by a thread? Because we've had a lot of games in a row. Remember, we had the earliest bye in this league, and we've played a lot of games in a row. Our guys are beat up, just like everybody else's guys are beat up. And so we had an opportunity to do something and honestly probably shock the world, being down 27-7 and have a chance to win that game. And yep, we're all hurting for it, but man, you gotta move on. We all have to move on. Coaches, players, everybody. That great thing is we get another opportunity on Saturday.
Is it right to say that 7-8 times out of 10, it's always the visiting team that makes that decision as opposed to the home team?
No, I wouldn't say that, because last year we were going to score on the first possession against Oklahoma State because we were coming off of a big loss, and we had a 4th and 10 at midfield, and we went for it, and Will hit Cade Warner for a touchdown. That changed the momentum of the game, changed the dynamic of that game, going for it on 4th and 10, getting a touchdown strike from 50 yards. So it doesn't really matter.